Alright, guys, welcome to another episode of the Hit List Horror Edition. I'm Anubhav.
And I'm Achyuth. And today we are going to talk about all things alien.
Especially the new Noah Hawley series, Alien Earth. Shall we just talk about like where the hell Alien comes from? And it's got its roots, like many great things, in Jodorowsky's aborted Dune film, where VFX supervisor Dan O'Bannon was made aware of the works of European artists like Moebius and most importantly, H.R. Giger. Dan O'Bannon wrote a script called The Star Beast, which is basically the plot of Alien, except the alien is a squiggly thing like monster. What is that Pokemon that is just squiggly vines and stuff?
I have no idea.
Tangela. Literally, I've seen the creature designs for the Star Beast and it looks like Tangela, and it would have looked very, very cheap on screen. So Ridley Scott turned to H.R. Giger's paintings for inspiration, and there was this one specific painting that he basically stole for Alien. Of course, Giger, the designer of the alien and of the ship where the alien is found, but it's literally an existing artwork of Alien that has barely been retouched, that becomes the monster that we know and love. Now, every filmmaker brings something of their own to Alien. While Alien 1 was this sort of terse horror story that is a little bit Lovecraftian,
A little bit atmospheric.
and very painterly and very unique in its design, coming from Ridley Scott's sensibilities as a like an ad film director and an artist. Then you got James Cameron, who famously showed the studio execs a board with the word alien written on it and then added an S with dollar signs on it.
Yeah, that really, that was his pitch.
That was his pitch. He literally
Holy
wrote
shit.
alien and then put S with a dollar sign on it.
It's going to be, in fact, a recurring theme that each filmmaker is really bringing in their trademark touch into whichever alien uh, project that they are involved in.
Yeah, their techniques and also their thematic sensibilities are brought in.
Yes, both.
Like Ridley Scott just brought in a sense of pure hopelessness and terror to his alien, all of his alien movies, which we'll get to later. He did three alien movies. James Cameron brought this sort of sense of camaraderie and found family, just like in Terminator 2.
And Avatar.
It also brings in the multiple ninja theory of entertainment, where it's like if there's one ninja, it's gonna be really tough to defeat, but if there's multiple ninjas, we're gonna mow them down like nothing, which happens in Aliens.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like the way the big chap felt like towering, almost unimaginable foe that you pray you don't come across. In this one, it's like they're all just bugs. Even in the film, they are referred to as bugs, and they're bugs
Yeah.
who are crawling at you at large numbers, and they're being shot down. But of course, their numbers do help. The stakes are
Yeah,
high.
the first two films are kind of really iconic because they sort of establish a lot of tropes, like the like this sci-fi with the woman hero, and then with the colonial marines is like a trope in media, but it was first found in Aliens. So these two films are highly influential in the franchise.
There was one more trope that both films together combined established, which is the corporate apathy and its need to just pursue its own goals. Like in the first Alien film, the robot in the crew,
Ash.
Ash, he ends up being ready to sacrifice the entire crew just to ensure that the alien is safely brought back to Earth. And in the second film, in Aliens, a suit from the corporate is sent on the mission to try and retrieve alien specimens rather than actually protect and save the colonists who are there in the planet. And in the process, he's ready to endanger the lives of Newt
Newton
and
Ripley.
by trying to use them as incubators for the aliens. The first two films together establish the alien, its life cycle, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and now we come to David Fincher's debut in Alien 3, something which he disowns to this date. And that's one film which has gone through such such a huge number of revisions that we don't even know how to trace its genesis.
No, the current version, the version that exists, which is about like this mining planet. One of the screenplays, I think the original screenplay was actually by William Gibson, who is basically the father of cyberpunk, and it is completely different. The David Fincher version is closer to the Vincent Ward screenplay, which is about quote unquote Luddite planet.
Yeah, monks, basically.
I am not a fan of it.
I am a fan of the film because I ended up watching, without knowing at that time, the assembly cut, which was the work print version that David Fincher himself was editing and working on before the studio really got involved and pissed him off and took it over from him and re-edited and bastardized and released on into the theaters.
It was also his first film, I think.
It was his very first film. He was doing ads and music videos till then. But since he was, quote unquote, inexperienced in films, the studio and the producers really got involved and pissed him off. So the one that people got to see initially was not what Fincher had intended. And Fincher was also not in the best of moods. He was also just learning how to make a film, how to deal with producers and studios. So, all in all, it was not the best thing, but I still found a lot to love about the film. It's less an alien film and more a film about the human mind, the human spirit, and Ripley ultimately choosing to make the greatest sacrifice so that human greed does not come in possession of alien DNA. And the film is set in this prison planet where people have been sentenced to live the rest of their lives and work, and there's absolutely no hope. And there is this really strict and powerful prisoner, played brilliantly by Charles S. Dutton, who's devout and religious and who ends up initially being suspicious of Ripley, but then he sees what she's talking about. He sees what this alien can do, and he sees that while they are doomed there as prisoners for eternity, doesn't mean that their lives should also be doomed without meaning. So ultimately, they all band together and try to survive, and Ripley makes the ultimate sacrifice. All these things are why I really loved the heart in this film, that is Alien 3. So it's one of my favorites, even though that's a very controversial thing. Not many people would ever say that about the film, I guess. But hey, that's just me.
And then the director grew up to be David Fincher. So whose loss was it?
Yeah. I mean, imagine a franchise where first film is directed by Ridley Scott, second by James Cameron, third by David fucking Fincher.
And fourth by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who is the director of
Amelie,
which is probably the French film that
most people have heard of.
yeah, he's an odd choice to direct it.
Very odd choice.
It was also written by Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Joss Whedon, who infamously hated what Jean-Pierre Jeunet did with the film.
And I can probably see that because have you seen Alien Resurrections?
I have no interest. It just sounds like a chore.
You know how French people are stereotyped as having this proclivity for weirdness. That is exactly what happens in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have to be weird, it's like the place for it is an alien film.
True. But some of it feels like it's weird for the sake of being weird. There has to be a logic rooted in the universe for the weirdness to exist. And Junet, it feels like he just dialed up all the weirdness, but there was nothing grounding in it. Even Alien 3 practically concluded the story, but then as the fourth film is titled Resurrection, they resurrect Ripley by cloning her multiple times, and then it's a weird, it's a sci-fi film, but when you look at it and it screams that, hey, look at me, I'm sci-fi. We are also slicked back hair in the future and we wear all shiny clothes, silver, chrome everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Completely antithetical to anything you've seen in the alien world so far. That was Alien Resurrection, and it ends with this extremely audacious human alien hybrid, that looks like a clay baby, but the size of an adult, which has a vagina on the stomach with a penis hanging out of it.
Sounds fun.
That's the level of weirdness that the film was taken to. I personally dug it. because I love all things alien, but I get why most people do not like to talk about this film. So let's also move on because the film doesn't really add to the canon. Nobody even the studios don't like to treat it as canon, you know. As far as everyone's concerned, as far as most fans also are concerned, it's Alien and Aliens. Nothing else matters. The next standalone Alien film, we're going to skip a couple of films for now. We'll come back to the ones we've skipped, I promise. The film that we're going to come to now is Alien Romulus, which is a standalone alien film after a very long time, directed by Fede Alvarez. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And that's a film about a ragtag bunch of kids. It's like a young adult movie set in the violent world of aliens. And it's what I think Jean-Pierre Jeunet in Alien Resurrection should have gone for, because that human alien hybrid and all makes an appearance at the end of this film as well, but it's done in the most skin crawling way.
But we have to mention that Jean-Pierre Jeunet is not really a horror director,
He's not.
while Fede Alvarez definitely is, because before this he had directed the Evil Dead remake
Yes.
and a really horrible film called Don't Breathe.
Yeah, that one was. Ugh.
But it gives the vibes of, like a bunch of young kids sort of entering a haunted house and then encountering all these monsters. And it ends with basically an alien human hybrid that looks like something out of Wreck, which is very like Spanish horror film coded.
Yeah.
So basically, he also brings something that is very unique to him to this franchise.
And also, like, the whole thing is all the characters are children.
Yeah.
You know, they're teenagers and they act like teenagers. Their bonds are like teenagers. So that was again a very fresh perspective. The android is also like a kid.
Played by David Johnson.
Yeah, he deserves all the accolades he got for his performance. And Fede Alvarez, like you said, is a horror director. So he has seen all the previous films. He understands what works in them, and he's not interested in just redoing the set pieces from those films. He cleverly makes new set pieces where, even though you know that there are facehuggers, what will facehuggers do, what happens to you when you've got one catching you, even if you know all that, he just goes all new territories in Alien Romulus, and so it was a very fun romp. In fact, I've seen the movie thrice now.
Yeah, it's a fun film. So like just getting to like what makes Alien tick now that we've like talked about the films before really talking about Alien, the the monster is basically a threat of rape.
Yes, the whole film is about rape and unnatural birth from rape. Like, let's talk to the uninitiated. The alien life cycle is that the face hugger is this spider-like creature that binds itself to your face and puts its proboscis down your mouth into your neck and forces its seed.
And its mouth looks like a fucking vagina for some reason.
Its mouth opens up like a vagina, and then a penis-like thing comes out and goes into your mouth.
Yeah.
And then it pumps in its seed into your chest. Once that job is done, it ensures to keep you alive while it's pumping its seed in.
Yeah, Foyt would have a field day with this.
Its only goal is to subdue you and ensure that its progeny is inside you, no matter what the cost.
Yeah.
And then it once it's done, it detaches, it dies, and then after some time, its progeny that's been planted inside your chest, it's now big enough to burst its way out of your chest by biting and pushing and breaking all your ribs and having a violent birth, killing you in the process.
Yeah, and then when it comes out in a form that's called the chest burster, it literally looks like a fucking dick, man. I mean, it has a very phallic shape, and then it runs away, it skitters away, and then when you next see it, it's grown up to be the big alien.
The xenomorph.
Yeah.
And the xenomorph also, its head is literally a big dick.
It's got a very phallic shaped head.
And it's got a mouth within its mouth that's also like a dick.
We must also talk about the silhouette of the alien. It's sort of feminine in a way, the way its
Yeah, the long claws,
hands and feet are.
yeah, thin arms and bendy, slender body.
It would make for a great fashion model, I feel, if you cut off the
The head.
things protruding from its back. But yeah, it's got a very feminine form. So it's got all this sort of weird psychosexual imagery that is inherent in it, and that makes it a really terrifying creature, because especially in Alien 1, its skills are very phallic imagery influenced. Like it has this long tail with a stinger that it pierces into your heart. Who's the lady who dies other than Ripley?
The one who's scared a lot.
Yeah, she's the one who spooked
Yeah.
Lambert. So there is a scene where Lambert is being stalked by the alien that has very like rapey
Rapey
vibes.
vibes.
Yeah, the alien is this unfeeling sort of character, but you feel like it's relishing this skill particularly.
Or rather, you are smelling the fear of someone who's going to be violated.
Yeah, that's what makes it so threatening.
Yeah.
It's this sort of weird enigma of a creature, because you don't really know its motivations or anything for that matter, other than sort of replenish its progeny.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate organism in some ways.
That's what it was being posited as from the beginning, right? It's the ultimate hunter, the ultimate organism. Its only goal is to kill and to reproduce. And it's got some crazy self-defenses like acid for blood.
Oh yeah. Again, the ultimate organism. You hurt it, it destroys you.
And imagine you're in a spaceship and you shoot it, and its corrosive acid is just gonna blow a hole into the hull and decompress the whole damn thing. What are you gonna do?
That's what makes it so fucking terrifying.
And that acid for blood thing is there even at this face hugger stage. That's why if you find some unfortunate soul who's been caught by a face hugger, you can't just cut it off, because then the corrosive acid is going to go through the person you're trying to save and they're going to die anyway.
Yeah, it's defenses, attack, imagery. It's got everything. It's just the ultimate horror creation. Let's get to Prometheus. So Prometheus and Alien Covenant were both directed by Ridley Scott, returning to the reins after like what was it, like more than 20 years, I think.
When did the first Alien come out? 1970?
79.
79. And Prometheus came out in 2012, I believe.
Yeah, so 22 years. Well, Prometheus was a sort of a stealth prequel. Like we didn't know it was about Alien until the very end.
So it basically posits that this creature that we've been seeing as the ultimate creature, we have no idea how it came to be, where it came from, and all of that. Well, Prometheus posits that humanity, being, the most evolved species, in its search for its own creator and in search of its own immortality, ends up creating the ultimate creature, even though it cannot be the ultimate creature. It's a prequel that begins with Peter Wayland, the owner and founder of the Wayland Corporation, which was just Wayland back then and not Wayland Yutani, who is now getting old and wants to find his creator and ask for the secret to immortality so that he can be immortal. That's it. But he creates an artificially intelligent android. That android is basically Wayland's creation. So the android is like, wow, I have met my creator, and my creator wants to meet his creator. But then the android later ends up realizing that my creator, Wayland, is a piece of shit human being. He's not that great. And his creators, the engineers, literally hate us all and want humans to be dead. So then the android David, named David in a very mythical way, takes matters into his own hands and starts researching and starts tweaking. By the time we get to Alien Covenant, we find out that he has perfected the ultimate creature so that he can then unleash its wrath onto his own creators, his masters, whom he now looks down upon, whom he no longer respects. This is a complete U-turn from everything we've seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen these two films in a long while, and I feel the alien creature was better as an enigma. The engineers who you see in Alien 1 are better as an enigma.
I am with you there. It's like some things are lesser when you know more about them.
Which brings us to the latest prequel in the Alien series, which is set about, I think, 100 years before the events of the first Alien, Noah Hawley's Alien Earth. Now, Noah Hawley is the showrunner of the Fargo TV show, which is another movie that was turned into a TV show.
I've seen the movie, I haven't seen the show.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show either. I'm like, why does it need a show? I don't know. And he's also the showrunner of Legion, which I've seen, which I love, which is this kind of crazy sort of take on a very trippy Marvel character. It's done with a lot of inventive filmmaking and a really quirky story, which gave me high hopes for Alien Earth. But what kind of gave me pause is that this is a prequel that is set 100 years before Alien 1979. And it basically sends the alien creature to Earth before Ripley and her colleagues discover it in the original Alien. Now, what made devalue the alien creature is that Alien was a lot like, like gazing into the abyss, and the abyss gazed back at you in the form of this alien creature. They discovered this cavernous extraterrestrial spaceship, like a giant space creature that is long dead. So there is this mythical quality to discovering the alien, and humanity's first contact with an alien species is so rife with terror and a sort of beauty, but mostly terror. So I feel like it sort of devalues this.
I don't think it devalues it because that was the audience as a humanity's first introduction to Alien. I don't think that, of course, we are only 2 episodes down, but from what I can understand is the Wayland Yutani Corporation has already found the species before. And their vessel in which they found this species, and they're really trying to capture it and bring it back for further research to further their evil agenda or whatever, is the one that crashed. The corporation knew about the aliens' existence. And so it can be surmised or logically understood that in their greedy pursuit, they never stopped. So maybe Nostromo, that we saw in the first Alien encountering the space jockey and the eggs and everything, may not even have been the first mission sent by Wayland Yutani to find a xenomorph. Maybe they have been trying for a long time.
Yeah, but the Nostromo's mission wasn't to find the xenomorph. It
No.
just chances upon the planet.
But how do you know it chances upon it? Mother wakes them up.
Mother is the computer.
They were just a mining ship, resource
Yeah.
mining ship, and while they were in cryo sleep, they were woken up by a so-called transmission received from this planet of aliens. But we don't know whether they received a transmission or whether it was a pre-planned stop that Wayland Yutani and the computer system and the android Ash had known about all along. We just know from the other movies as well that this greedy corporation will stop at nothing to get its hands on this ultimate creature and to not just use it, but also to learn from it. All the alien films were about a few people and the aliens. But this show seems to be about the world in which all of them exist, the world of these mega corporations. And what do these mega corporations do in the future? They are trying to find the ultimate answers to crossing the barriers and threshold of human limitations, the human mind's limitations, the human body's limitations. And so there are multiple mega corporations, one of which we have always heard of and known, Wayland Yutani Corporation. And so their pursuit of this alien need not have been a beginning from Alien 1. It could have been going on for a long time, but we are just exploring the depths of the corporate world and corporate secrecy and corporate rivalry and corporate goals, which will be explored in this show. At least that's what I think the show is about from the first 2 episodes and the opening scroll of the first episode as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the opening scroll. It talks about different types of humanity rather than.
It talks about different types of immortality, becoming more than human, crossing the limits of humanity, right?
Yeah,
So it
which
talks
is
about cyborgs, synths, and hybrids.
Yeah.
Cyborgs are humans with some cybernetic components,
Artificial enhancement. Yeah.
artificial enhancements added on to them, but they are still like human at the core. Maybe they are the same as, the meta humans from Cyberpunk and everything. Then we have the synths, which are completely synthetic, artificially intelligent. And then finally, we have the hybrids, which is a machine body, but inside which a human mind has been transposed and is completely living. And if the opening scroll is to be, if understood properly, if I have understood it right, then each like there must be two or three mega corporations, and each mega corporation's pursuit to immortality and transhumanism is through one of these three methods. One corporation might be doing synths, one might be doing cyborgs, and one is doing hybrids.
Yeah, which is like it is a very cyberpunk notion, you know. It basically sounds like the opening to another one of Ridley Scott's science fiction films, Blade Runner. And the
Hmm.
film seems to be dealing with similar themes, like it's about what makes you really human, you know. The Alien franchise has been this playground for different filmmakers to come in and do like what they're interested in and what they're good at. So this one also seems to be a completely different take in the Alien universe.
Yeah.
Do you think the Alien is really needed for this?
That's a very good question.
We're just 2 episodes in.
But I don't think the alien itself is needed. It's more probably needed as a marketing tool to pull
Yeah,
people in. But the story itself is less about the alien and more about these mega corporations in a sci-fi and cyberpunk world, like you said. And it's about what it means to be human.
yeah. So this show continues the tradition of the Alien franchise having like a female protagonist
Hmm.
in Wendy, who is this 12-year-old kid who was terminally ill, and her mind is sort of transplanted into an adult synthetic body by this megacorp, and the synthetic body has enhanced strength, enhanced sort of intelligence, enhanced speed. It's basically like transplanting a kid's mind into a superhuman body.
Into a supercomputer.
Yeah, yeah. And she's not alone. She's got a bunch of other synths who are sort of created, in fact, with her help because she eases them into the transformation. This show kind of wears its inspiration on its sleeve by calling them the Lost Boys, who are Peter Pan's gaggle of ageless children on Neverland.
Yep. In fact, the name of the corporation that creates them is called Neverland.
It's Prodigy, right?
Sorry, the headquarters is in a place called Neverland.
Yeah, the island where they are is called Neverland. I mean, yeah,
Is called
it's sort of
Neverland.
laying on its.
It's on the nose.
Yeah, it's very on the nose that way. I mean, let's see how far this Peter Pan thing goes. Does that make the alien Tinkerbell? I don't know. But yeah, it's about her story, and basically like once you have sort of taken in a synthetic body, you leave your old life behind. But
She doesn't.
yeah, she doesn't. She has a brother who is still a normal human being in Siam in Thailand. And this is where the ship containing the xenomorph and a bunch of other
Many other
species,
creatures.
yeah, crash lands. And these guys head in for a rescue mission or a salvage mission.
Wendy's brother is a medic, so he goes in with the search and rescue team. And then the lost boys are also sent in because Prodigy realizes that it's a Wayland Yutani ship that's crashed. So anything that they find is theirs to keep.
The show basically establishes that there are no governments on Earth anymore. It's just corporations.
Yeah, like entire cities. Like, in fact, when the ship crashes into that city, then there's later a scene where Yutani is speaking to Prodigy's chairman, and Prodigy is like, your ship destroyed one of my buildings. Like, even though it was just a building in the city. So it's like the entire city is built by and maintained by Prodigy. So probably these mega corporations are so big that they are now running entire cities in the world.
Yeah, it's a very cyberpunk premise again, but with a xenomorph thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk basically posits what if transhumanism. It's the ship of Theseus question again. Like, if you replace the parts, is the thing still the thing? That's a very cyberpunk concern.
Yeah.
Motoko Kusanagi of Ghost in the Shell has the same concern. V and Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk also have the same concerns. Harrison Ford, Deckard in Blade Runner has the same concerns. And Alien Earth posits the same question. Like the series is basically in its infancy. we're only 2 episodes down, but it's heading in an interesting direction because we've never dealt with the notion of kids in a cyberpunk environment really in any major pop culture zone.
Hmm.
How much do you think this will be a horror show as opposed to a sci-fi show?
Not much.
Hmm.
I think it's mostly leaning into the sci-fi aspect of things.
It never like fucking terrifies you like Alien, or it doesn't make you tense up like Aliens did.
It had moments.
It's intriguing, but I'm not getting that ick yet.
I am like, I am in fact more invested in the show for the world and what it's going to reveal more about the characters and the machinations and everything, rather than the horrifying nature of all the creatures that are there. In fact, the promo images have, if they are anything to go by, we are in for quite a lot more variety of disturbing creatures from the ship.
I did love the creatures in the first 2 episodes. There was this.
Which the eye,
Oh man, the eye is beautiful.
the eye was great.
I love that shit
I love the eye.
because I think a cat has mostly been the survivor of the Alien franchise.
Yes. Ripley and the cat are the only survivors.
What's the name of the cat? Jones. Jones is like one of the only other survivor of Alien, and he survives. He doesn't go back to space with Ripley, so he's the only survivor of Alien. It was really interesting that one of the first fucked up parasitic things we see has latched onto a cat.
Like a dead cat, and then it's now living in place where its left eye used to be.
Actually, it's really interesting because the character design of that eye alien is very much in line with the original character description of the alien in the Star Beast.
Oh, the squiddly thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
So I mean, maybe it's paying homage to that. And then there is the weird alien tick, which is just fucking terrifying.
What?
The one that the weird tick thing that sort of latches onto your neck.
Burrows in.
Okay, maybe it delivers on the horror department. Maybe we were.
We'll see more. And especially since I'll tell you one thing. There was one bit where cocoon-like things hanging from the ceiling, and it opens up and this tail-like thing sort of comes out from in it. And only one no, one hybrid is there. But we have to remember that it's a kid. This kid doesn't know how to deal with these situations. It doesn't know protocol. It's not a soldier. It's a kid in a grown-up robot body. And since I knew that, I was like, oh shit. Whatever it is, dude, get the fuck out of there right now. Get out of there right now.
It sort of reminded me of you remember those fucking cobras from
Yes,
Prometheus, those weird cobra aliens from.
that was dumb.
Yeah, so these kids have a reason to be dumb. They're fucking kids.
Not instead of grown ass scientists who have gone out into space and they're like, ooh, space cobra, I'm going to put my hand in your mouth.
Yeah, great horror movie foil. But I wonder, can any of these kids be sort of inseminated by the alien?
So, okay, I know more about the alien lore, so let me take this forward. The alien lore is a bit of a clusterfuck where so many people have put in so many different things.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
you don't know which will be canon and which will not be. But I'll just say that there is a possibility in this one theory, which is that the face hugger is not sending a sort of traditional sperm-like thing into whichever species it inseminates. Rather, what it is doing is, you remember how in Prometheus, the goo it ensures the breakdown and recombination of DNA to create new species. That is essentially what the face hugger is pumping down. A thing that will break down your own DNA and then recombine it to create the ultimate creature based on you. So now, is this thing, are these hybrids fully synthetic? If so, they do not have DNA. If so, facehuggers cannot touch them or will not touch them rather because it's a waste.
Yeah, so they can escape the terror of the facehuggers.
But facehuggers aren't a big thing over here yet. There are ovomorphs, there are the eggs, sure, but I don't think they will attack the androids and the hybrids.
Let's talk about the since we talked about them being kids and all that, them being kids in adult bodies. What do you think of the performances so far?
I really love the performances.
I think the lead, Sydney Chandler,
She's amazing.
she is amazing. She's just perfect, no notes. I can absolutely believe that
Yeah.
is a 12-year-old girl.
Adarsh Gaurav.
Adarsh Gaurav
Hmm.
of White Tiger fame, he's
Hi.
doing a bit too much, and he's sort of paired with Sydney in one of their explorations into the ship. I mean, we'll be hearing and seeing a lot of him. I hope his performance improves. He is an able actor, but I don't know, just this performance, it's a little bit off. The other kids are fucking amazing. There was this one scene where, of course, where they're attacked by the eye.
There's this black guy who's like holding on to the eye creature.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, he's amazing. And then there's another black guy, the captain of the ship that has crashed.
He's a Wayland android.
No, no, he's not an android. He's a cyborg.
Oh, he's a cyborg. He's a human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's not. So he sort of visually he kind of reminds me of
Yaphet Kotto from.
the original Alien. But this guy, man, he's like this. He's an asshole. He's this very enigmatic character, and he feels like the Ash of the series. Like he's gonna be the guy who's gonna be bad news for everyone and work in the company's interests.
Yeah.
I feel like he's filling that role.
I mean, he was literally trying to bag and tag the alien.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought his performance was terrific.
His introduction itself was great. Like in the ship, alien is loose and one crew member is banging at his door, and he just calmly seals the door shut and then goes into a blast chamber.
That's not his introduction. Wait, wait, wait. That's not his introduction. We Okay, let's get into that. So before we see the post alien
Hmm.
attack on the ship,
We see them having dinner.
we see them having dinner. We see them waking up from cryo sleep and having dinner, and we see their camaraderie and everything. And it's very alien 1979.
Yes, very much like that.
But here you get flat. This is where I think the Noah Hawley of Legion comes in. You sort of get these flash forwards to the aftermath of the alien attack. Like you get these quick frames of what happens when the alien is let loose and they're all fucking dead. Uh, it reminded me of
Hmm.
Event Horizon, honestly. Paul W.S. Anderson's Event Horizon, which is also like a sort of, like
Hmm.
indebted to Alien. Another horror
Hmm.
movie set on a spaceship,
Hmm.
Lovecraftian
Hmm.
horror movie set on a spaceship. Sort of reminded me of that, the way it just flashes to these horrific imagery. And it reminded me a lot of Stephen King, like Stephen King, he will write an ordinary scene where it's like Jim and Bob are having dinner, but little do they know there is a storm on the horizon, and this is the last dinner they will ever have. Stuff
Hmm.
like that. It just very makes it
Hmm.
very foreboding. That is Noah Hawley bringing his filmmaking chops to.
Yeah, Noah Hawley directed the first episode as well, where all of this that you're speaking of happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The alien is sort of I mean, he, she, it. I don't know the alien's gender. It's like all over the place. The first non-binary movie monster.
Hmm.
So Morrow, the cyborg from the Wayland Yutani ship that crashes, I think his whole sort of mission throughout this series is to capture the alien. I guess that's how they're gonna make this worthy of being an alien show. And the alien also has quite a lot of presence. I mean, there is the set piece on the ship where Morrow is stuck inside the sort of
Hmm.
mother module, and the alien attacks a crew outside, and the alien is trying to get in, and Morrow very steelily sort of locks himself in like this sort of
Blast room.
uh, yeah, blast room, blast chamber or something. And then we see the alien in the building where the ship has crashed, which is this sort of mega building. We don't see it, but we hear it decimate a fucking party,
Yes.
which is a very effective scene. I just realized something. We haven't really seen the alien go berserk. We just heard it go berserk off
Yeah.
screen or out of
We
focus.
just hear it. We hear the very trademark, that sound, that screech.
Yeah, squelching and ripping and tearing.
If there are soldiers, then you'll hear the sound of their pulse rifles, very trademark sound of their pulse rifles.
That's very interesting. So maybe they're keeping the actual alien carnage for later.
Yeah.
But whatever I've heard has been quite promising as an Alien fan. I mean, it really establishes it as this sort of unstoppable force, although it has been stopped once.
And I would also like to just point out one possibility that Noah Hawley could be going for. In a ship full of creatures that has just crashed, if these guys are going to encounter quite a lot of dangerous beings, and then we have the xenomorph, it's an interesting way to show that even among all of these aliens, the xenomorph is still the thing that's the top dog that you really want to run away from.
Yeah. Maybe it's gonna earn its name as an Alien TV show. After all, we haven't seen all the
We have
episodes.
a long way to go. But if reviews are to go by, then yeah. I mean, some people have called it the Andor of aliens.
Yeah, precisely. Which is why it feels like a very cyberpunk story than a horror story. Let's see. Let's hope it brings out the horror a little more. But I kind of have faith that whatever stories it has with these characters is quite compelling.
These characters in these these companies, this world, yeah, it's very compelling already. And there, like you asked me, and then when we were just thinking about it and talking, we realized that yeah, there are some good solid horror moments. So there's potential for quite a lot more.
Yeah. And I mean, Noah Hawley has sort of done horror because you haven't seen Legion, right?
No.
So Legion deals with Professor X's son from the X-Men movies, who has basically the power to alter reality, and he's in a sort of a psych ward. Like he's insane. He's like, despite his powers, he is mentally unwell. So another sort of another mutant who is also a psychic called the Shadow King has set his sights on him. So the Shadow King tries to invade him and control him, and the moments are actually, daylight horror where where any media will sort of rely on imagery rather than darkness and shadows to deliver
Hmm.
horror. It has a lot of daylight horror, like in stark view, you get something
Hmm.
horrific. So I mean, Noah Hawley does have his horror
Hmm.
chops. So, any predictions for the series?
No, man, and I'd like to keep it that way. I don't want to go in with any ideas whatsoever.
Just trust in Noah Hawley.
I've been waiting for a long time since Andor ended for a new reason to look forward to Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's true.
And now it's there, and I'm not going to go in with any expectations. I'm just glad it's a weekly thing, so we'll get a little dose of it for the next 2 months or so, and I'm locked in.
Yeah, so as you know, I watched Alien at like age fucking 4. So this monster, even though I haven't followed the franchise, this monster is like very precious to
Hmm.
me. And I feel like the alien is gonna appear in like every
It
episode.
it will. In fact, it'll only appear more and more.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to my dose of cyberpunk and alien every week. The reviews are one thing, but I have disliked films and shows with good reviews. But I loved Legion quite a bit, so I'm in for the long haul with Noah Hawley.
Yeah. And it's also not without reason. We've seen the first 2 episodes and they are pretty fucking great.
Yeah, they're pretty promising and intriguing. So Alien Earth ultimately feels like a worthy addition to the storied Alien franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its ups and downs, but it always promises something new.
And this is as new as it gets, pretty much.
So that was our little spiel on
Not so little.
Alien Earth. We're only 2 episodes down. Let me speak for both of us when I say that we are pretty fucking hyped for the rest of the series. So Noah Hawley, please don't fucking disappoint us.
And who knows, maybe we'll come back once the series is over and do one more episode.
So as of this episode, we are joined by Omkar, who is a musician and he's a great fucking guy, and he's gonna join us on the audio duties. So shout out to Omkar, and we were the 8mm Syndicate. See you next week.
See you next week.
Long
Long
live
live
the
the
Xenomorph.
Xenomorph.